Instead of looking backwards at our past and healing our past, how can we look forwards at the future and ask what type of future do we want to create? And how can the wisdom of these plant medicines inform that future?
It's the only conference on non-clinical outcomes of psychedelics. I feel like there's so much when it comes to the psychedelic conversation that is, like you said, is trying to jam it into the FDA approvals, into how business has been done before. But what you're talking about is actually creating a whole new way, not just one that fits into how we have been doing life and business and coaching, but actually creating a whole new way with the plants.
Yeah, so there's a quote from Buckminster Fuller that I often refer to, which is, you shouldn't try to fix, and I'm paraphrasing the quote, you shouldn't try to fix an old system, an obsolete system. Instead, create a new system that makes the old system obsolete. So what we're really looking at is, what is that new paradigm, not only for psychedelics but culture at large, and how do we get out of the mentality of we need to fix what's broken. Now, I will caveat that with saying the medical use of psychedelics, the use of MDMA for PTSD, the use of psilocybin for treatment-resistant depression, the use of even substances like ayahuasca for addiction and alcoholism. These are potent modalities to interrupt suffering, to heal suffering, to heal disease of the mind, disease of the body, disease of the soul. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And usually, when we work with these substances, when we work with these medicines, that is a lot of the initial work. Is the shadow work, is going into the subconscious and going into the unconscious and experiencing a catharsis of these condensed emotional experiences, these traumatic experiences that inevitably every human has faced. Now, there are some people who have experienced worse than others. There are some people who have been assaulted, who have been raped, who have been bullied, who have been mocked and made fun of, who have been abused, right? And these are deep childhood woundings that oftentimes psychedelics can help to heal. And yet, once we heal what is in the subconscious and the unconscious, once we go into those shadow areas and shadow materials, the inevitable question is, okay, well, what are we creating with the help of these substances and these medicines? Instead of looking backwards at our past and healing our past, how can we look forwards at the future and ask what type of future do we want to create? And how can the wisdom of these plant medicines inform that future? And I think, going back to the quote by Buckminster Fuller, don't try to fix a broken system, create a new system that makes the old one obsolete. The feeling that most people have of our healthcare system is that it's broken, is that it's been bought out by pharmaceutical companies, is that it's too individualistic, it tries to atomize the individual and just treat the symptoms rather than address the root cause. And for so much of us, the root cause of our suffering is, yes, trauma, and yes, these difficult emotional experiences that we've gone through. But I think beyond that, it's a sense of disconnection. It's a sense of disconnection to the earth. It's a sense of disconnection to community. It's a sense of disconnection even to ourselves and what it means to be human. And so what this new paradigm then represents is, how are we creating a new way of being, a new culture, a new society that sees interconnectedness as fundamental to human well-being and human flourishing. And how can psychedelics catalyze that awakening on a cultural level, so that way that truth becomes embodied and represented in every element of our cultural systems, from business to politics to education to healing, to religion, even, I would say. That is the question that I think I'm asking in representing or in talking about this new paradigm. The industrial paradigm is in a decadent stage. It can't be fixed necessarily. What we need to create is a new interconnected paradigm, and I sense that these tools, these psychedelic tools, will be central to that effort.